Yeah, I took a little nap at 6 o'clock. It's like 6:30. And I got up at like 8:30, so I slept for like 2 hours. Laid down about 30 minutes ago. I couldn't sleep when I got up. It's like 1 o'clock in the morning. I was outside earlier pondering my existence. And I really like where I was going with it. And I even mentioned what the theory of God. I think they call it theology. And then I think we're in like from what I know, we have like an interweb of spiritual, like the spiritual realm. It's like we're interconnected, but it's just by folks that we loved in our family. But it's not just family, it's like, you know, when my stepbro died, like, for him to mess with me after he died, like, he wasn't even my blood brother. So, there for a while, I was just thinking that ghosts were, like, residual, like, because I started thinking that the energy would fade away, or something else happens, like reincarnation. Or just maybe, you know, it's just, you know how they say they're looking over us, which is kind of weird. Like, how many eyeballs do you have, you know? What is there just like, you know, like I've heard so many theories, like, there's no time there. Like what, they could see future, past, and present? Nah, I don't know. Because I think that, well, that's just the way I feel. Sometimes I think every now and then he comes around. I just see it in a little, like, I don't know if it's just me trying to find something that's there that's not. Because, like I told my friend one time, like, I see this little speck of light sometimes, like, when I close my eyes or when my eyes are open. And I think that it's him. My dead stepbrother. And then he was like, no, that's like something from the TV screen, like digital. No, it's like, maybe I just wasn't paying attention to it before. Maybe he's right. But like, yeah, the message that he wrote me after he died, he told me he was sorry. And then my picture frames were crooked. Like, not the picture frames, but the pictures inside the picture frame. And then I took one of them apart, and it's like, it was on the glass, but it was on the inside, I think. Anyways, whether it was on the outside or the inside, I held it up to the light, and then it was there was a bunch of chicken scratch. It looked like a doodle or something, and it was like it said, "I'm sorry." And then it had his name on the bottom, and then it had a bunch of like underlining up under his name. And you know, living in a house, stuff gets really dusty and it's not gonna hold. So if something's written down, say with your finger or something, fingernail, he didn't have fingernails, he was dead. Yeah, but like the dust would clump over it over time. You're not the only folks that I told about that. When I went to the Alcoholic Anonymous classes when I was 23, I told them that. It was like a group of 20 of us, 25 of us. And one guy, like, after I said that, he was like, "Oh man, that's heavy." Yeah, but I feel like different folks have a soul, they have a spirit, and then they want to do things in their life for them to be happy. And some folks are just easily satisfied. And then some folks, they're insecure and they need like emotional support. They feel like they have to have you there just in case, or like, you know, when they say like on the back burner, or just but yeah, just you know, some people, they don't want to accomplish or create memories with friends. And I think that there's like different type people that want to. So it's like, it depends on what kind of spirit you got. Because I think even if I was a father, I'd still want to hang out with friends and have fun. Like, so maybe those unhappy parents, they just don't get to experience life in the way they want to, and they find it hard. And then for the grown folks that still have parents, you know, when they say like parents get that like empty nest syndrome, that's those people. That's those people that don't really care about friends. Because I'd be happy as hell. Yeah. You know, it's like when the bird is ready to fly, it's gonna jump out the hole, the tree, and it's gonna try to fly, and then, you know, I don't think it's any birds sitting there depressed that their babies prospered, that they flew, that they're gone. I mean, they're just animals, they're just birds. We don't know what they're thinking, or if they even think. They say some of them think. The smartest bird is a parrot, or at least that's what they say. A parrot. I don't like just chilling on the internet. There's no physical, like, nothing physical that's there. Like, if y'all are chilling with some friends and on the internet, like live streaming, that's cool. But if it's like a Zoom call or a one-on-one FaceTime, that ain't where it's at. And that's the way I feel about it. Like, what makes you happy in your life? You know what I'm saying? Like, some folks are just happy being, like, they say we're social creatures. And, like, being with people, some folks really don't care about that connection. Like, they're just happy having a job, having jobs, and like having property and just being secure in their life with their shelter, with their property. They're an individual. They're a free, independent individual. And I respect that. Some folks are happy with just that. But, like, that don't make everybody happy. There's, like, different types of people. And they get labeled like a hippie or something just because they don't have enough money. And they're just out wandering, like the Wanderer, like that song. The Wanderer. From Fallout 4. Yeah, it's a video game. Anyways, it's an old song. How do you feel about your life? Are you satisfied just being a family person or single? Or are you out living it? Because the folks that are out living it, they probably ain't on no YouTube internet live stream. I know that's for sure. So you get a bunch of people on here that's like unhappy because they waste their time distracting themselves from making good memories. Even if it's like playing a video game. A lot of y'all just, some of y'all actually want to be YouTubers and have that hope like you can make money on it. And some of y'all really ain't tried it yet. But if I lured you in on the algorithm, like, that's cool. I understand. Because that's all it is. It's just the algorithm. And the live streams don't get promoted. They don't get promoted till you subscribe. These YouTube shorts, they be showing me a bunch of shorts I'm really not interested in. Like, it's just viral stuff. That's why I don't be clicking on it, and they keep the same YouTube short on there about a grizzly bear or something. It's just picky. It only picks what, I don't know, y'all. It's gonna pick the last few things. Not really though. Like, why? Why don't it show me rave videos? You know what I'm saying? Like, why don't it show me rave shorts? Are there just not a lot of rave shorts? I highly doubt it. It's just prejudice. think it's prejudice. The viral stuff is like PG-13. That's what it is. All the viral stuff, it's PG-13. It ain't gonna be no viral stuff that's like rated R or like X-rated. Rated, you know what I'm saying? It's like it's either PG-13 or rated mature in like a certain type of way. Like either it's like political or just something educational in your interests. People just trying to make a viral short, a viral video. Like the YouTube shorts, they copy TikTok. Damn, that's an Adam and Eve commercial on the Weather Channel about sex toys. That's awesome. Adam and Eve's the shit. Adam and Eve, 50% off. Free shipping. Yo, and then it's gonna give an ad about real estate. Realtor.com. Now it's giving an ad about crackers. Crackers are better than bread. Don't like diabetes. Anyways, what was I saying? I love being up on a Friday night. And it, like, when I was young, I was stupid because all I need is a nap. Now, like, I realize that it's hard to take a nap. Sometimes it's like you gotta plan ahead. If you don't plan ahead, man, when we're young, we're too excited to take a nap. We want to stay awake. They only had us in the rhythm when we was in school or when we had a job. And then when we had a job, we still didn't want to on the weekend. Or sometimes in the weekdays. Then you fuck around and lose your job. They fire your ass. They don't give you as many days off like school did. I think school, like how many days they give us off in school? Like 10, 15 or something. But it couldn't have been in like a month. Be spread out or something, from what I remember. And then, like, I guess there's no regulations in the workplace in America. If you don't go to work within within 3 days, or like, they gonna fire. It's like, you coming back to school? Yeah. In a week. No, not at work. Can't come back to work. You fired. That's fucked up. I didn't know that third day I was gonna get I didn't go. Because I had a feeling that I should go. Just because I say I'm tired don't mean I don't want to go. Because I said I was tired, and they was like, well, you ain't gotta go. See? You see what I'm saying here? If it was a different person, they could have been like, I'll buy you 3 Red Bulls. Or, say something like, you need to learn how to take a nap. A power nap. It's like, you'll take a nap later. You don't want to lose your job. You see what I'm saying? There's different type people. Why spend your whole life around the same type of people? That's what kind of person I am. I get unhappy, stuck. And I think a lot of folks are like that. They just don't realize it. Because how could they rate the best jobs as the happiest people, the ones that have social jobs? Like the, I don't know, there was some 90-year-old guy that was just wanted to work to be around people. And he was like the grocery bagger at the grocery store. And he felt super happy. Man, my battery's low already. This phone sucks. Yeah, they say the Chinese, they're way past Tesla. They already done got ahead, and they can charge their cars in like 10 minutes. It's that BYD Chinese car brand. I don't know how long it take to charge y'all's electric cars, but they done figured out how to do it in like 10 minutes, the Chinese. Because I think some of y'all's over there charging your car for like 30 minutes, an hour, 2 hours. Hello? It was a tornado. Several tornadoes. Like 6 people died. Tornado took out a whole trailer park. Scattered all the trailers. This hat looks so much better than a baseball cap. These hats right here. This hat goes so much better with the a polo shirt, button-up shirt. I always thought these kind of hats looked better. You know, all them baseball caps is from baseball. Baseball was like real popular back in the day. I ain't watched a baseball game in so long. I don't even see baseball. Yep. But it's cool though. I got a bunch of baseball caps. I ain't bought none in a long time. Last one I bought was an Ariat. I didn't know it was Ariat. I just saw the horseshoes on the front. And the leather piece is dope. There's some good baseball caps. Sure. And then like the folks in politics, they don't wear fedoras anymore like those. Yup. Bowler hats turned into cowboy hats. When they started getting stepped on and romped on. And that's why they started putting the dimples in the hat. Because their bowler hats would get messed up over time. So it just became the look, the western look. The cowboy rustler type look. But it came from bowler hats. They was round. Without the dents. So then it just became the style over time. With dents in it. They would make the dents. They used steam. And a dent machine. They used steam and a dent machine. Oh man. Oh man. I hope my watermelon seeds grow. If they don't grow, I'm gonna have to soak some. Like, I'm just gonna toss a bunch of seeds. 3 seeds in one little pile each. Like, for each separated spot. And then when they grow, pick the smallest ones out and let the big one grow. Because that's what I did last time. I had a whole bunch of cantaloupe plants coming out of this a little swimming pool, and I was just like picking them off. And then but like that's what happens when you try to plant like one seed at a time. Sometimes they don't come out. They gotta be germinated right. Or you gotta just get lucky. Talk to them, do that seance. No, I'm just playing. Grow, seed, grow. Well, they say that if you talk to your plants, they grow faster. And it's because when we exhale, it's carbon dioxide, CO2. It helps plants grow. So a lot of what the fires that humanity was making to keep warm was helping the plants grow with the CO2. Just you being alive helps the plants grow when you exhale carbon dioxide. So when they used to say that the plants would grow faster when they talked to them, turns out it was true, because they done discovered it scientifically. But I heard it on the radio or the news, it must be true. Why would they lie about something like that? Man, there's lies everywhere on the internet. I trusted. Google will straight up lie to you. One time I Googled about what's on the moon, if aliens are on the moon, and they was talking about, yeah, aliens on the moon. It's just somebody's blog post. If you got one of them things you can talk to, like Alexa, or whatever, like, it just depends on what kind of question that you ask on how you word it. You have to word it right. If you word it in a different way, you're going to get a different response. Yeah, now they say that you don't get the responses that you used to. It's like, it's prejudice against you. It'll give you different type stuff. That prejudice, that prejudice create a different response. So even the AI is going to be prejudiced. But how do you get it to be your friend? You gotta go to somebody else's house or something? Oh, I'm on the library Wi-Fi or the McDonald's Wi-Fi. I bought it. You gotta change your location and your device. It's showing me Republican stuff. It favors the This is leaning left or leaning right content. All this content's leaning left. And it's not showing me content. I'm coming from the position of the right. And it could be different. I don't know. So, yeah. Where do you go from there? Go to DuckDuckGo. You're gonna go on the dark web. You're gonna use a different browser. You're gonna have to use a different AI. They're all gonna have their own different AI. There's gonna... Oh, man. They already do. I ain't even used it yet. I did get excited about AI, about ChatGPT, when it first came out. Then I heard that it costs money. Like, have y'all tried it? Have y'all tried Chat GPT? Then there's Chat GPT 4 or something. Now they're putting AI in the Microsoft. They got their own. It's called I don't forgot. Yeah, but like all them big tech companies making their own AI. You see, I was learning a bunch of stuff before I tried live streaming. I was trying to stay in the know. And then I did get a hint that I can invest some money on Nvidia. And then I would have made a bunch of money on it. You know, the more you invest, the more you make. And then seeing the Nvidia crash where the stock went down like halfway or something, that just made me realize that it was all hype and that people jump on the hype train. So whatever the hype train is going, people will jump on it. Sometimes they jump on and they jump off. Like how they've been jumping off of the stock market lately. The rich folks just jumped off the train because they know it's bad for the market. So if you know when to jump on the train and when to jump off, you can make a lot of money. But if you don't know when to jump off, that's when folks lose, right? Then they have to wait until it comes all the way back up. If it ever does, it might not ever. That's what I'm thinking, because I really don't know. See, like, because y'all are probably like me, you probably could have made a lot of money, but you didn't. You gotta be like Warren Buffett and start when you're young. Because he bought his first stock when he was a teenager. With a money order. How do you do it? Hold up. See, where did he take the money? See, where did Warren Buffett bring the money order? To the bank, or did he send it? Because you can't have a bank account when you're a teenager. So he must have sent it. See, I don't know how it worked like in the old days. I don't know how it works now. All I know is that it comes from New York, Wall Street. Then I was trying to figure out, where did this stuff come from? And they said that it came from Europe when they would put money on somebody that was going to get on the ship, and they was going to get on the ocean, and you could buy, like, they was helping the folks run their business. And they would get profit when the business was successful when they came back off the boat. So it must have been a bunch of business over there in the Mediterranean Sea. You know, they used to do trade and stuff, like all that stuff before they discovered America. They was all over that continent. All over, and they would fly down they would sail down the sea to the bottom of Africa, and they would go over there towards India, and, you know, they would get over there to China. And they had the Silk Road that would go in between on land through the Middle East with the Indians and stuff. Because if they tried to cross the ocean, the winds would blow them back. They'd get lost because of the winds, the Gulf Stream. So they would try to cross the ocean halfway, and the wind would blow them back. The jet stream, or whatever. But they did have one of those, the Antikythera mechanism. That was probably for sailing the Mediterranean Sea. But it was like, showed you where the stars were. I don't know, like, what if that helped them get across to the Americas before they conquered the land? because they said North Africa and from Europe. There's white Indians. Some folks was like mixed with African. They called the white Indians. The white Indians was like the Redskins, and they covered themselves with okra, like what you see on the Egyptians. They're red. It's like they was just using okra to paint, or was it really red? Because some of them, like you can see on those Egyptians that, like on their mosaics or whatever, their art, like some of them was black. And then they said they had baboons for pets. They had baboons for pets. Or no, the baboons were like your personal security guard type stuff. They had personal security guards that were baboons in ancient Egypt. But like that red ochre stuff, like that old world Florida talking about. It was some white Indians. Like there's some stories about how when the Europeans came over, it was some white Indians, y'all. But yeah, some of them North Africans, they're like brown, and a lot of them Indians was brown and tall as fuck. Like, but there's tall Asians too. It's like they just, I don't know if people just wrapping up what they know into a little story, a theory, a conspiracy, because that's what they say. That's how conspiracies start developing. Like you're ignorant to a lot of things, and then you just put what you know together. That's what make a conspiracy. When you don't know the whole story, there's always something you ain't know about. Because there's tall Asians, the Mongolians in Mongolia. They're like 7 foot tall. And then there's tall white people over there in Deutschland. And like they say the Dutch are the world's tallest. And a lot of them Germans are real tall. Like a lot of Europeans are real tall. Then there's some tall Africans in Africa. Like we share a lot of the same genetics. It's like we're branched off so far. Because a lot of them little Asians, like I think they came from the islands, like down there. And they just like must have settled China or something. Like a long time ago. Because if you go on Wikipedia, there's like a... But even some of the Africans, like, there's like short African tribes. Like 4 foot tall. So there's been little people all along. And they're highly mixed. Like, we didn't used to be able to do this stuff, test our blood. Back in the old days, folks couldn't test blood. They couldn't test blood in the old days. Now they can trace our genetics, and they already did. They already started tracing folks' genetics around the world. And there's like different type of hominids. Like it ain't just breeds. Like if you go back in time, there's different, like we look different. A lot of us look the same now. That's why they call us Homo sapien. But we used to be like, there's the Neanderthal, the Denisovan, the Cro-Magnon. And then if you keep going back, they start to have their feet start to look more like hands. And then their foreheads start to go back, like there's less of a forehead, because like the Cro-Magnon has a big forehead with a bigger brain. But like they go on this stuff even by just a fingertip. Like some of that stuff that they theorize that they don't know for sure, but they kind of know. Or like a foot, like some foot bones. But I'm talking about like way, way back. You know how they recreated Lucy? It was like 4 million-year-old woman from 4 million years ago. And they called her Lucy, but she was from Africa, but she was little. So it's like a theory that, like it's a theory that it's always been different type of humans alongside one another. Not just different breeds, like this Labrador dog, and there's a poodle or whatever, and then there's a little Chihuahua, and there's a little French bulldog, and they got all these different kind of breeds of dogs and breeds of horses, but like them dogs come from a wolf, then there's the coyote, then there's the fox. You know what I'm saying? It's like there's different types of horses as well. There's the donkey, the jackass. There's a zebra. There's the Mustang, the wild horse, and then there's the draft horses. And they're really big. They're like, man, have you ever seen a draft horse in person? They're like 1,500 pounds. They're like 1,200. I don't know how heavy they get. Then you got these little donkeys, and they're a few hundred pounds. Because they say that even back in time, there was horses in the Americas. But when the Europeans came over, like there was no horses. And some of those archaeologists or whatever, some kind of ologists, you know, with the prehistoric animals, they believe that the wild horse from America crossed over to Russia and into Asia and then created the zebras later on. Because it's a really old horse that has like a big mane, like a mohawk, and stripes. And like the world's oldest type of horse is over there in like in between Europe and Russia. Because them Mongolians, them Asians had them little horses. Yeah, they found little people, like if you go on Wikipedia and the stuff about the hominids, about the the humans millions of years ago, there's some little people living in those islands that was like 3 foot tall, like millions of years ago. And there's like theories about giants, how like there could have been giants. That's what they think the Denisovans were. Like, they were bigger. But, I don't know. You see it sometimes with some folks, they get the pituitary gland and then they die when they're like in their 20s, but they get so big that they never stop growing. It's really sad, but it's amazing at first. It's like, wow, you're so huge, and then, oh no, they died. But they say that if the atmosphere is better, we would get bigger, that the animals in the past were bigger because the atmosphere was better. So something happened to our atmosphere, the planet, the air. We have less, they say we have less oxygen and nitrogen in the air, and the dinosaurs had more. But I think we got a bigger variety now. We got a bigger variety of animals, I think. Maybe Americas were lacking. You know how like Africa's full of different animals, like it's just strange. They think it was because the Ice Age. I think it was because we got hit by asteroids. Because they say that an asteroid killed a dinosaur, but I'm talking about like the last Ice Age. Because there's been multiple Ice Ages apparently. It's a cycle. Because it takes a really long time to get evolution going and adaptation. Like the polar bears, the white tigers, the tigers, the polar bears. The whales that used to have legs, like the polar bears that are suited for the cold. Because they say that it used to be a bigger wolf, like the dire wolf. Like I don't know how big the dire wolf was, but like around the time of the like the saber-toothed tigers and stuff, there was a dire wolf, and there was a big short-faced bear that was like 10 foot tall. But how big was the wolf? It was like 10 foot long. Oh man, this big dog is like 700 pounds. You know what I'm saying? It's like, why are they extinct? Why are they dead? Why will they never come back? The woolly mammoth. But why the dire wolf? Randall Carlson says all the big animals died. They was all starving to death. The world got black. The world got black, covered in a layer of ash, a layer of black soot for like 2 years, or a year or two. Can you imagine if the world was covered in black ash for 2 years? All the plants would start dying, all the big animals would die. What's left? The little animals? What the hell? What are you talking about, Randall Carlson? We still got wolves. What was they eating on dead bodies? The dead bodies would have rotted. They eating them little animals, just barely making it. So you're saying there was little wolves alongside the big dire wolves? So you're saying there was already black panthers alongside the saber-toothed tigers? So you're saying there was grizzly bears already alongside? See what I'm saying here? It takes a long time for evolution to get back better. Because we still have 1,200-pound grizzly bears. How long ago was that? That's some weird stuff. That must have been a long time ago. I'm thinking it's longer than what they say. Or unless they was already living alongside one another, like what I said, yeah. Where is this? Yeah, I think I just confused myself. But I started thinking. See, it's always good to ask questions with yourself. I might not like it when you ask me questions. I'm questioning myself. A lot of these people on here on YouTube, they ask you questions so they can judge you. Those people, they just go along with anything that they like, and then they dislike anything they don't like. Unless they're actually looking for some type of advice, but why would they go to a live streamer for some type of advice? It's like you don't know how folks are until after you deal with them for a little bit. After you communicate with them for a little bit. Then you know whether or not they judge you or not. Because they're gonna judge you. I'm over here judging Randall Carlson on what he says about these big animals that went extinct. It must take a lot for these big animals to go extinct. And I didn't know that stuff about the black soot that would cover the earth. Like, for the sky to go black. What's that all about? From the asteroids hitting the earth and sending all that stuff into the atmosphere, making everything go black. It's like what they talk about with the nuclear fallout. Because they say that we got so many bombs, nuclear atomics that, and the hydrogens, that it could just send the world into nuclear fallout, like nuclear winter. Because of all the black stuff going in the atmosphere. Do y'all think that's real? Is it really real? Is it really real? Humanity has the power to kill themselves. The little animals would survive. And then if there was people that survived, that would be really weird. So they're gonna try not to do that. They're gonna make them smaller. People used to be scared of that in the 50s. They said that the greatest generations, like the Roaring Twenties, they say the greatest generation was in the 50s. Like the greatest time to be alive, to be an American, was in the 50s. And I got to thinking about that the other day, and I was like, why is it so good to be alive after a world war? because people appreciated more, because they weren't so ungrateful, because they didn't complain as much. They were grateful to be alive and to have a peaceful existence. That's what it must have did to the human psyche for at least 20 years. Because World War I was in like 1918, 1917 type stuff. And then World War II was 1935 type stuff. 1940s. So it wasn't until the 20s, the roaring 20s, and then the 50s, that was so great. I heard a bunch of folks in there in Europe was poor as hell. It wasn't the greatest time for them. The numbers that they say on that stuff is just, it's like too much death. So we know that we don't want to kill ourselves like that. Because that was a lot of death. Like a lot, a lot. I used to play a lot of war games, but a lot of the war games today are trash because it's just multiplayer bullshit. The best war game I ever played was Medal of Honor Frontline, and it was good like at the time, but like I tried playing it now and it sucks. But the story was so good on it. The story, the music, and the playthrough. There was no multiplayer back then, unless it was just on PC, but the PC game sucked back then. I mean, after like 15 years now, do y'all ever get tired of just doing team deathmatch? Capture the flag type shit? Conquest, Rush. It's all the same. Last man standing, last team standing. It's all the same. And in recent years, whoever can get in the circle when it gets the smallest. Battle Royale. It's like King of the Hill, but it's like King of the Little Circle. And it's like, where's all the story-based stuff? It was in the DLC. I had to buy the DLC for Battlefield 1 to play all that. That was awesome. Like, that was the most recent one that I played that I really enjoyed. Like, it only had like 4 main missions, story, like at the beginning. And then after that was only like a couple days of playing. Because Medal of Honor Frontlines took a whole week or 2 weeks. For some reason, I told my friend that I beat the story in like 5 hours. That must have been on super easy. No, but that Battlefield 1 from 2016, oh man, there was like $50, $60, $100 worth of DLC to get just to do the story, and that was like so good. Like, because I haven't even bought any of the newer type games, like Call of Duty and all that. Like, I don't know if they have a really good story, like campaign. Because I'm telling you, like, that shit from back in the day, like, it was so good. And every time I get on a game these days, it's just online multiplayer. And it's like nobody even wants to talk anymore. Nobody's on the, like, nobody's like just like on the mic anymore, because like nowadays, like if you're on mic and you're in like an online game and you're not really talking to anyone, you're just talking to yourself or something. It's like first somebody has to talk, then more people will talk. But if nobody wants to talk, you know, somebody's gonna say, shut up. Yo, can you turn your mic off? I'm trying to play the game here. And so they finally added this thing where you can mute full game chat, so you could just play the game without listening to like anybody yelling or on the mic. Yeah, because it used to be really hard to just pay attention to the game when people are just yelling and talking and stuff. Man.
On Wall Street, hoping to God that this works out. And I guess that's where I am, because there's a part of it that I philosophically disagree with, and I am of the school that tariffs are taxes if they do in fact raise prices on a lot of things that people formerly could afford. But if for some reason, like, I'm completely wrong and this works, I'm on America's side here. Like, I want it to work, even if Trump's not president, even if it's some friggin' pinko. If they can figure out a system that works for America and for us, then I take that as a win.
You know, I understand. You said that tariffs are a tax. Couldn't you say that anything that contributes to the price of something then would be a tax? Does that make sense?
I mean, the fluctuations in the market, like something is.
But I mean, like, you know, if you decide to use a different kind of paints on your marital aid, that would raise the price. That would be a tax. I tend to not hate
mine because I don't want to go to.
What, Joe?
Well, yeah, if it was a tax, it's a tax you can avoid by bringing your jobs, your factories back to the United States. You know, there aren't many taxes you can
It's a rerun.
by hiring Americans. With maybe Hunter Biden will get American prostitutes in the future.
Yes. Good for him. All right, we got to move on. Up next, Obama backstabbed Kamala.
Hi, Mike Huckabee here. Having spent many in politics, I can comfortably say that the current climate is enough to keep any of us awake at night.
I listened to a lot of political stuff ever since 2020. Before that, nope. I was really up for it when I was a teenager, and then with George Bush, and then what happened, I was like, I just tuned out. I tuned out. All that stuff with Obama, I didn't watch none of that stuff. I didn't care. And then the beginning of Trump in 2016, like, I just watched him, like, in his first speech. Like, I started getting back into it, honestly. But I didn't pay attention for like 4 years. And then when 2020, I thought, Trump was gonna win again. I was like, for sure he's gonna win again. Yeah, but I didn't know, like, I was kind of excited for the first woman president, but it's like it was like an ex-president's wife. She was a first lady, so it was like it wasn't the same. It was like a George Bush. I don't even know what they was, like, yeah, she was Democrat. I don't even remember what Bill was. Clinton, whether he was Democrat or what. Like, all I know is they was lawyers. Yeah, so with the the economy and then making money, like, I started to get focused on making money because I'm getting old, you know? And I learned a lot about that with the gold and the silver and the stocks and the trends, and then even being a business owner and doing like e-commerce, and then that whole craze with drop shipping, and now like there's a bunch of negativity around that. Like they want to stop that, like the Airbnbs, like real estate. Because they was allowing places to buy these houses and just rent them out for like people that wanted to get off the plane and just stay for a little while. And then it started sucking up the housing market, and that fewer folks had houses. And then seeing some of that stuff like from those big cities, like in the 90s over there in Chicago, and they was like tearing down houses because I think a lot of those old houses, they would get tore down. So it's like, why aren't they building more houses? Like, it should be so easy to buy land and just build your house, but instead it's like under the radar type stuff. You know what I'm saying? This is why I want friends. Like, I love just being around friends, not even talking. Because you get on YouTube and then you want to like start talking and then you don't shut up. And it's like weird. They turn you into a rambling head. Yo, I listen to rock music, rap music, any kind of music. I feel like I'm getting old. I'm embracing my oldness. I gotta take a piss. camera. The camera's trash. Night in Motion by what? Cubic 22. Is that breakbeat techno? That's some old stuff. That's like 90 years old. 90 years old. 30 years old. Cigarette smoke making my tooth loose. Go up in there. My tooth is like, whoa. Fuck these glasses. I'm about to go to sleep. That's got tobacco in it. Ugh. If they could just remake this kind of music with the newer samples, it would be so much better. 5%. What the fuck? Save that song. I'm on this playlist called Dark Underground Techno 90s on Spotify. Alright, I'm gonna play this Ibiza Classics one more time. Maybe I should just go down and pick one. It's hard to make music. Oh, there ain't that many songs on there. The Spotify playlists are not long. The ones that Spotify made. Forgot whose music I was gonna listen to. It's showing me new releases for me. What? Dopamine by Weevil. What is that? This is why I love Spotify. Weevil. Weevil just put out a new album. It's 4 songs. And then the one before that was Pleasure Craft. So I might as well just like save these Weevil songs. Weevil, W-E-V-A-L, and Pleasure Craft. Pleasure Craft with a K. Head PE released a Bartender remaster or something. Bartender from Head PE, they released that on Broke album back in 2000. 25 years. Damn, man. If I'd have just had the right woman. I was a playboy. I was a playboy. moved around a lot. That's what did it. Just one song?
Roku.
A radio edit. Oh no. It's gonna get stuck on this ad, isn't it? Smart TV issues. Okay, I'll just save the song. What do you mean radio edit? Where do they play Pleasure Craft on the radio? It ain't in the South. Where is it? Fuck, man. Now I gotta restart the app.
Manage.
I should have fun tomorrow. I should, but I'm not gonna have fun like how I say I should. For some reason. For some reason, there's a mental block. It's like writer's block or artist's block. I have party boy block. Party block. Party block. Party block. I think it's because I partied with my ex. And she made me depressed again. You know what they say, like, don't go back to your exes? Probably the serious ones. The ones you didn't really get serious with, you don't know. Some of my friends, I think they ain't the right type of friends. A lot of us have gotten older and settled down. I'm just young at heart and I don't have a family. But like, even if I did have a family, that's what the babysitter's for. Yeah, you're gonna go to your friend's house and man, I used to stay at my friend's house all the time. At least it saved it. Play. Play the fucking song. that clap. That tick. Alright, the Weevil. Weevil don't really make techno. It's trippy music. Like with the echo, the reverb, this is like hallucination music. For when you're tripping, it's trip music. Yeah, it's trip music. When you're tripping. Yeah, I'm about to get up off here though.